So we're pretty deep right now, like 50 minutes.
Yeah, 50 minutes.
So
and then,
news-wise, all I have, and I did want to talk about this, but it can be due at any point, or not even. John Carpenter shits on Big Trouble Little China sequel, and they're already saying they're gonna debut a new Shazam costume in the next trailer.
How many costumes does he have?
Oh, not many. Just the first one was not well received. So when they say that, I think we're already going to get a redesign.
Oh wait, I think I saw a picture of this. So, doesn't he look like plasticky or extremely animated?
Probably.
Kind of like Green Lantern-ish.
So really, I think we should just skip the rest of the news because I don't think it's that crucial and just move on to the.
I'm good with that.
Any other thoughts? Is there anything else you guys have news-wise that you wanted to talk about?
No, I'm good.
Because you don't got anything. I said let's just fucking.
Well, at this point, there's no point in going.
So this Sawtooth, and then there's another Fremont, and then a Mother Earth. We don't have to drink them all, but we have to drink at least the Mother Earth because I said we have 3 Idaho beers.
Okay.
But I also said we have 2 Fremonts, so I feel like if we don't drink them all we would go liar.
Let's drink this one. Rate it really, or
we just needed more to the point. Just do it quickly.
Let's pour this one right now then, before, like during the break, before we go live on our actual recording.
You can't hear the can open.
We have an actual recorded piece of that. So anyways, what I'm saying is let's pour this, and then what we'll do is while we're playing the piece of everybody's comic that they choose. Did you pick one or no?
I did not.
Okay.
Not to do his homework this week.
Then what we'll do is while we're doing that, we'll pour the next beer, and then immediately after that, we'll jump right into it. Sound good?
I don't know what you're saying, but sure.
While we're playing the clip.
Oh, okay.
Well, we have to introduce the segment. Yeah.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We'll introduce the segment as we're drinking this.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
And then we'll go to the clip of who I'm guessing whoever's going to go first. Probably Jerry. You go first. Richard Pryor last.
Well, I was going to do a quick run. My plan was to do a quick rundown, take these beers, of the list, just who we have. Just be like, so quickly, or what we're going to do essentially is do a quick rundown in absolutely no ranking order whatsoever. It's just comedians that aren't here with us that we wish were want to give a shout out to. And we'll just say the name. And if you guys got anything you want to say about it, some of these names you might be surprised how much you have to say about it. And if not, I mean, you guys all have the list or access to it. And then we'll be like, yeah, but at the end, we're going to play 3 clips.
Thank you.
We're going to play 3 clips from you from each one of our favorites, except for Paula, because he said comedy's stupid.
He said that he doesn't know anybody that's dead. He said once they're dead to me.
He says once they dead, I don't fuck with them no more.
I literally do not know. Like, I know Mitch Hedberg. That was the only one that came up to my mind. And aside from your list, I couldn't come up with anybody at all.
It was a pretty good list.
My comedy stands from like you guys. I get from you guys.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
Ah, man, did you have a list from
David Spade?
Or was it like something from a current person that you wanted to play?
Norm.
Because I could even let that slide.
No, even still, no.
It's just you don't watch stand up on your own. Yeah, that's okay. That's
Wong.
okay. Nobody watches Ali.
I watched Ali Wong.
Yeah, because you're
What?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was just from YouTube, I think.
Oh, good Lord.
What are you guys ready?
You can't even comment, Vic. That's when it's fun.
I mean, I don't have words to specifically articulate the feelings that I have. I really have to think about it.
Yeah.
You guess.
Yes, I did. I know. That means That's when I know that I won. At that point, it's like, okay.
There, yeah.
No, this side of the table wins. Always.
At least we have equal representation. That's all I'm happy
That's true.
What?
Although Ryan's technically half white, so we win a little bit more.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Harsh.
I'm full Cambodian. Yeah, so that does not work.
If you had a little bit of white in you. I don't
I
care.
haven't been in white.
That's true.
He's had a little bit of white in him.
That only counts if it's been in you, though.
Oh. I guess it depends on your perspective. Who's bringing us back from the break?
Well, I don't care. I can.
I
Unless
take
one of
us
you guys
out.
want to. Yeah, you did take us
PK, you want to bring us back? I think that'd be fun.
Sure, Paul, it is.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Since you're not going to have much to say, you might as well bring it back and introduce the beer. Hey, here are the cans. You just need one, I suppose. From Haley.
The cans.
So, the important thing is this one,
Oh, we've
it's,
been to that brewery, Paul.
hey, perfect. I like that. So you can talk about that a little bit.
I was way drunk.
Say it's our next Idaho beer. See if we prefer this one over the sockeye.
This is Fremont again, right?
No, this is soft.
Oh, Sawtooth. Yeah. And Haley. Yeah.
Yeah, you and that played
Yeah, your
darts.
your road trip.
Pretty okay.
Your road trip beer.
That sister was there.
No, I remember those guys, they have a montage memory of that.
Yeah.
You browned out.
Yes.
Are we going live on this?
We are already live on that. We've been live on that.
Oh,
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
You didn't know?
No.
We
Oh,
can
hi, guys.
we can edit that.
Hi.
There's nobody
Oh,
there,
hi,
but until
YouTube.
they're watching the the replay.
What about Instagram? Are we there? We've been there for a great.
Oh, solid. Cool.
That's
Oh,
all right.
so we're going on everything.
I like to feel like this is the bonus content stuff.
the boner content.
Sure, I like it.
It's that Patreon shit.
Yeah, that's coming.
That you don't pay for.
That's a hint. Oh,
Oh, they can't hear this. Oh, no, we can hear this. Paula, you tell us whenever you're ready.
Smoothers. Yeah, sure. Let me know.
No, you let us know.
Okay.
Are you letting us know?
you're going. I'm going. Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I'm going first.
Yes.
Well, we're still going to
with the
do our
comedian.
list, and then.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
going to do the list, and then Matt's going
But
to.
I don't think the list will take long. It'll probably only be a few minutes.
That's what I'm saying. You can roll right into yours
Okay.
and do your clip.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool beans. All right. Paul, do you want me to count you down? Yes. Okay, cool. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome back, Brew Crew. We're just going to freshly hop onto another beer here.
Ah!
Ayo.
Damn, you're so
Thank you. Thank you. It's from Sawtooth Brewery. Here in Haley, Idaho, it's the No Friends on a Fresh Hop Day Hazy Citrus IPA. That is a mouthful.
That is a mouthful,
It is.
man. Sawtooth's a pretty good brewery, though. I don't think I've had a beer from them that I didn't like yet.
Yeah, looking at this can, it's pretty neat. It shows looks like a couple skiers going up a mountain, and there's a bunch of hops falling down as if it were snow. And one of the skiers has actually been tied to what looks like a lift pole and can't get down. So he has no friends on a fresh hop day.
I think he's got a beer, though.
IPA.
Does have a beer. This is, I think, another newish beer, it looks like. Only less than 80 check-ins and 60 ratings. Okay, it's 79.59. But it's got a 3.76 rating. 6% alcohol. No IBUs. Let's see how we feel about that. So from one hazy to another hazy.
Both fresh hop, though. That's the key, because that falls in line with our theme.
Word. Also another brewery. Oh my God, that's good. Also crisp. I think I might like the apple one a little. Maybe a little drink.
Is that ASMR?
No, yeah, I was going to say no. There's someone, I swear, there's probably at least one person that subscribes to us just for that.
Just for that.
Yeah, don't give, no, stop it. I actually had this beer before Jerry picked it up. I picked up a 6-pack thinking that, hey, we might do something like this considering it's the theme. And then he went ahead and picked more up because he's an awesome guy. So
That's true, I am. But you can't have too much of good beer. It's just science.
Yeah. So you think it's good? What do you think?
I like the 3.76 rating of it. It lingers a little bit, which I don't know if I'm a huge fan of, but that could also be because it just had another hazy before this. Double hazy. Yeah. But overall, I don't mind it. I enjoy it. If I recall right, it was actually... I wish I would have kept the receipt because I bought so many different beers I don't actually remember what cost what because I wasn't paying that much attention. But if I recall right, this was one of the better cost ones, a little on the lower end, because that kind of how it is with old Sawtooth here.
I want to say I paid $8.99 for a 6-pack,
which is a good price
Yes.
for a beer like this.
Yeah.
I think so.
Most of this stuff is like $12.99 or $11.99 for a fresh top 6-pack.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna keep it at that 3.76 rating and give it a 3.75.
Really?
And I would tap it.
Oh.
I'd definitely tap it over the sockeye.
If you take it out on a date, hold its hand.
No, we're just gonna do it. I wouldn't date it. I'd just tap it. God
I'm not even gonna get into that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You should be.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 3.75 on this guy as well. I think it's a good rating. I would definitely tap that as well. Not in the sense of what Jerry's saying, but in the sense that I would session on this as a whole. I do dig it. It's a good beer. Funny enough, I wrote 3.75 right when I drank it. And yes, I would court the fuck out of this beer.
You would court it,
Yeah.
huh? Nice. Not just a Tinder date. This is like a POF date.
I'm gonna give this beer.
It's a Match.com.
Paid money for this subscription.
Yeah, Paul wants to get to know this beer.
And then put his dates on it.
Call back. I'm gonna give this beer a 3.75.
Damn! Look at that. Around the table, huh?
Yeah, I
Square
was like,
to the table.
I think I had 3.75 as my last rating before because I, had it beforehand, and I was like, well, does it really matter? And I double checked just to make sure. Yeah, 3.75 all the way.
That's
Nice.
dope.
That's independent ratings 2 times.
Which is
Good. I'm glad to hear that because I
It's-
really wanted to know how ratings hold up over time. So yeah, that's awesome, man.
all right. So while we finish up this beer, we're going to get into the bit of our podcast where we're going to talk about stand-ups that we wish could still stand up, but they can't because they're dead. So we have a little.
This is a tribute, Jerry. We're supposed to be happy about them giving us happiness.
I feel like these stand-ups would appreciate that. Yep. Okay. Maybe not.
They look at you funny.
So this is in no particular order. We're going to kind of give out some shout outs. We might say a quick thing or two about them, but then we each kind of have our own that I think is a little bit more special to us than others. Except for Paula, who's a dick. But Vic, Will, and I do. And Paul's not a dick. He's just not really a stand-up fan. He's also kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's right on both accounts.
I just think it was you were taking care of your family earlier today, so didn't have enough time to look at the.
No, just throughout life, really. He's never really been. It's always been weird because Vic and I are huge into stand-up. Fucking love it. In some alternate universe, we're both stand-up comedians.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, Paula's just never been stand-up.
It's what's funny is I actually make my own stand-up comic actual
Routine.
Yeah.
You just don't watch it.
That's how I do I do my comedy. Everything's all timed out for me. But yeah, I watch it with you guys all the time. Not all the time when I hang out with you guys.
Sure.
But on my own, porn. Yeah, you should probably monitor that. I think it's probably not good at this point.
I think instead of that, you should take a walk in
in 20 years
in your neighborhood.
There would just be that dialogue.
Wow.
Oh, that's the closest I've come to losing a beer on this podcast. We'll spit it right the fuck out. Like pop my ear and everything from holding it in. That was weird. Didn't know that was a thing.
Oh no.
It's horrible.
All right, Jerry, what's on your list?
So just a few quick ones. Vic and I kind of came up with this together. It's in no particular order, but it's just,
Whom we thought of,
Whom we
who
thought
has passed in the stand-up world, and we just dearly miss.
I'm going to say, start the list off with alliteration here, little Greg Giraldo.
Greg Giraldo. I love Greg Giraldo.
Yes,
Master
it
of
was Giraldo.
ceremonies at the
The
roast.
ultimate roast master.
Yeah.
He's a great dude. Unfortunately, committed suicide a little too early. He was one of those dudes that was like too smart, like to the point to where he was so depressed because he knew too much, especially like the inner workings of government and all the deep dark secrets and stuff. And he showed a lot of that in the stand-up, but it really wore on him.
Now you're starting to depress me, Jared. Please.
Dude, sometimes stand-up can get real depressing.
Comedy in itself is a tragedy as a whole, man. You
That's-
just sort of have to
No.
get the.
Oh, I get that.
Comedy
It's
was originally a tragedy. So yeah, that is a sad one to list on but he was so funny, man. If you go, hands down the best roast master. And we have, what's the guy's name that does it now?
I do not know.
I do, and I can't believe I spaced
I
that.
haven't watched the roast in a while.
He's pretty funny. You definitely know this stand-up comedian. He's also kind of dirty like Geraldo was. Not like dirty emotional, like physically. He kind of always look a little greasy. Why am I
Just because they don't wear makeup, and then somebody puts a TV camera on them and they're not ready for it, and they're like, I've been working and it's like 4 a.m. and
They slept
I'm-
like an hour.
I'm hot and I've been under this big giant spotlight, so it's been staring at me. So yeah, they got a little sweat and it look a little greasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically why.
God, I can't believe remember what his name. Why do we
Plus
suck
they're
so
probably
bad at
drinking, they're
names
eating
tonight?
bar food, which can't be that great for their
Jeff
complexion.
Ross?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, suck.
Yeah.
Well, you took a while to get there. I don't know
I
if
did.
It's important, but we got there.
We got there.
Well,
Not
but
that
the
far. He's
vampire.
definitely no Greg Giraldo.
No.
Geraldo, apparently. We also got, let's see, Patrice O'Neill. Speaking of the roasters,
Sure.
he was a great roaster,
He was.
but not
Great stand-up, hailed by all other stand-ups. I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts with stand-up comedians, and Patrice O'Neill is hailed as one of the greatest comics that's been out there.
Also heard he's hailed as kind of a dickhole and a bully.
I feel like it goes hand in hand. Yeah.
Sometimes, but he was like, there were a lot of people that said he was kind of a bully,
Mhm.
at least at first, in a way to like push out a lot of comics. But then once
Yeah.
he warmed up to you, he really liked you. But that made me a little sad.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
tis the game sometimes, huh?
It's the game, man.
Ralphie May,
Ralphie May.
everybody's,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah. See,
like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Wow.
And that, but quite the opposite. A lot of people say he was the world's largest sweetheart.
Oh, I bet, man. He's
Good
a great kid.
reputation. I didn't really care for his stand-up that much, but he did have a good rep, and clearly there were a lot of people that really liked that.
Mm-hmm. He was on the reality show Stand Up Comedians.
Last Comic Standing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. And he was just, he's just a great kid. Just a great cat.
This is a different guy than the guy that was on Mike and Molly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because they're both big guys. I get them confused sometimes.
Yes. Then that guy's still alive.
Okay. Cool.
Then
Good.
we got Lenny Bruce, old school dirty comedian,
Oh,
one of the
Lenny Bruce.
best ones to break through censorship. I don't got much else there.
I don't either. Yeah, he was a classic one. One of the fucking legends.
For sure.
Any of these guys, you can easily go and look on YouTube and find,
And I
at
encourage
least a
you to do
highlight
so
reel.
because you're gonna laugh.
oh,
Everybody
yeah,
likes to laugh, right?
it's worth your time.
And then another one that I was super, super sad about when he died, Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac.
Love
Yeah,
me
Kings
some
of
Bernie
comedy,
Mac,
man.
especially because I think he was like 48 or something. Heart attack took him early.
I think he was like in his 50s, 54 or something.
Was
But-
he?
But still,
But
dude,
still too young. Either
Yeah.
way, too
Yeah.
young.
and
One that was
that
kind
guy
of
was super tall. Like,
super funny.
yeah.
But he was a big dude.
When he had no problem intimidating people either. Like,
No.
like I'm up here, I'm big, and blah, blah, blah.
That helps. Once you cross like 6'3", I feel like that kind of gives you a different aura as a man.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, where are you at?
6'3".
Once you cross 6'3.5",
Shut up.
Bernie Mac. Was he from Ocean's 11?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He was on the first Transformers?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Was he
And then
jazz?
he had the Bernie Mac show. No, that was also not the first Transformers. He was the one that sold Bumblebee to Sam Witwicky.
Oh, yes.
Come on,
yes.
Come on,
Dude, it's
man.
been a long time since this damn movie. It's not a great movie. Like
The
let's move
first
on.
one's not bad. Correct. Let's get to the ladies, the whole two ladies we have.
Oh shit.
Joan Rivers.
Oh my
Joan-
I don't know if you
gosh.
haven't watched Joan Rivers stand up.
Dude, she is funny.
And vicious.
Yeah.
She's so good, dude. And another one amongst stand-ups that is super well respected, both in what she did for the craft and who she was as a person.
Well, she even didn't she hosted like a late night for Johnny Carson, filling in.
She did
for,
fill in a few
for a long
times.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, like
she's great.
she was absolutely wonderful.
Pioneered it for women in stand up. Really?
I don't, not even just stand-up in general, especially what she did for women. But even on top of that, she's still one of the greatest of all
I
time.
agree.
Yeah.
She had like an assassin's type style, the way that she would come at people. That
That's
just
a great fucking way to describe it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what my thought was. Thank
Yeah.
you. She would just come at people in just a great way and just kind of let it hang in the ether there and just let you handle it with this
Like,
beautiful, just
so
in her execution.
tell me about this.
Well, she would make these poignant.
As a
Amazing
nondescript example. Yeah.
Exactly. She would make these poignant, just specific references that would just be like, God damn. Just very insightful, very poignant, very,
Straight to the core.
very great. Yeah.
Oh, she didn't
She'll
fuck
cut you
around.
deep.
She does.
She'll cut you deep.
And the other one is Gilda Radner, who I also thought was hilarious
Very
and
good.
also a great physical comedian.
Yes.
And was she married? Am I confusing this? Was she married to Gene Wilder?
I'm unsure.
I think she was. Can you give me a quick Google on that real quick?
unsure as well.
Because I know he was married to some really also hilarious lady comedian. I want to say it was Gilda Radner, but I could totally be off on that.
Gene Wilder didn't do stand up, did he?
No.
And
He was on my list
I
of
didn't think
greatest
so.
all-time comedians. He's actually probably maybe my all-time favorite comedian. I'm a huge Gene Wilder, but I don't know of him doing any stand-up. I'm a huge Gene Wilder fan. I left out a word there.
Good job, Jerry.
I think Blazing Saddles might be my favorite role of his.
Oh, really?
I love Blazing Saddles, man.
She
Oh.
was married to Gene Wilder.
Boom!
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hear No Evil Speak.
Dude, also
That's-
with him and Richard. Him and Richard Pryor did a lot of great things together, but that movie,
That was brilliant.
dude, that one's that's so good. I have that movie.
It's a great movie.
Okay, we got some Bill Hicks talking about one of the first original OG political comedians.
Yeah.
You can tell he was a big inspiration to guys like Lewis Black, Jim Jeffries when he takes his political stances. Went dirty, went off after like the almost even like a little George Carlin-esque sort of
Yeah.
thing. He was good. They and I were going back trying to watch a lot of his old stuff. It's kind of hard sometimes when you go back to watch those YouTube videos. Is their audio recording capability wasn't where ours is now.
Yeah.
And that can make it a little challenging because we could catch some things that were really funny, and then it's like the volume's up to like 60 and we can't hear shit.
Yeah.
So that maybe we just need to go back and find a little bit more. But a lot of it, dude, that dude was funny, and what a weird looking man.
Weird. That's a good.
Oh, but he was certainly funny.
Time of the Era is also a really good thing to take notice of when you're watching a lot of these old stand-ups. It's like figure out what year it was that it was recorded, because yeah, there's just some stuff that wouldn't fly today that obviously, I mean, they're trying to push the boundaries and everything on stuff that
Speaking of pushing the boundaries, Sam Kinison,
Sammy K.
he was one of the, he was absolutely a great dirty comedian back in the 80s. Who else we got? Andy Kaufman.
oh my gosh.
Oh man.
He's fun, Sam, but you guys need to watch Man of the Moon and then watch Jim and Andy, and that'll teach you everything you need to know.
Yep.
Maybe not everything, but enough, and you'll be better off for it. I promise you that.
You know, I want to go back to Sam Kinison for a second. An
Yeah.
interesting thing about him, he was like classified as a genius, actually had a traumatic brain injury which fundamentally changed his personality. And after that, he became one of the world's greatest stand-up comedians. So he had a very interesting evolution.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Super smart kid.
I knew he had like a big change. I didn't realize it was a brain injury because wasn't he like even like a preacher or something before
He
that?
was for a bit,
I
yeah.
thought okay, but I didn't realize he had some head. Oh,
Had some head trauma happen.
And he's part of the club.
Personality.
And
I got
she
it.
was part of the club, me too. And then of course George Carlin. I know we kind of passed on him, but I think maybe he's not the one I picked, but maybe the greatest stand-up comedian of all time is George Carlin.
That guy knew funny, and he knew exactly when to hit his beats.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I almost don't, the reason why, again, I didn't choose him for my point is a lot of his stuff was biting and kind of mean.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But that guy knew exactly when to say the words. Like his timing was uncanny.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Timing is huge in stand-up comedy. It's hitting those plot points, those story points. Like, he told a story with such an amazing execution of hilarity that would come along with it. Like, he had some great insight to him. And I think that's a large amount of what stand-up comedy is. It's their subjective perspective on
Absolutely.
what's happening in the world right now. And like you said earlier, Will, it's a reflection of their time, truly, of
George Carlin,
what's happening.
he's one that I disagree with that statement on a little bit, because you can take a lot of George Carlin clips, a lot of quotes, and apply them to exactly what's happening right now.
Yeah, he had a universal.
He is universal. He's timeless. He understands kind of the repetitive things in human history that you see, and he really hit those home. So a lot of things was of his era where he knew what he had to tackle, what he had to overcome, what he had to do to get past censorship. But then the dude's genius level was just so high above the rest, where he's like, and shit's fucking timeless.
Mm-hmm.
There will never be a time when this isn't relevant somewhere.
It'll always relate to somebody.
Yeah.
You're right, and that what made be that transcends like good, great, and then there's a transcendent comic.
There are two transcendent comics. One of them I'll hold off on because it's one we're going to talk about. It's not mine, but there is another one. But I think he is truly a transcendent comic. I also think Jim Jeffries might be on the way there too.
So
Louis C.K. also might be there, even though he's a little chronic masturbator. But the dude's comedy is what he talks about. It's as good as it gets.
I will say this though about the timing and something being classic. That's actually one of the reasons why I think like some of Seinfeld's bits will very much fade away into obscurity.
Because they're too much of the era.
They're too much of that exact time. Like
great time capsule example.
Yes. Yes. Like cell phones that were this big, and I'm holding my hands like a foot apart from each other.
What's the deal with airport food?
Yeah.
You know?
Like, for all we know, food is going to be coming pill form.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be
powder you put in your
obsolete.
water and drink or something.
Yeah. So
let's go and is this a repository?
Suppository, right up your ass.
That's the future review.
Right. And then the last one I'm going to shout out to, unless you guys got anything else before we move on, is Charlie Murphy.
Charlie!
way too early.
Dude, way too early.
I feel, Charlie was
The
a great
two
star,
best,
though.
and there are so many great ones, the two best Chappelle Show skits are true Hollywood stories with Charlie Murphy.
Yes.
Both Prince and Rick James.
Oh, for sure, man.
So just real quick before we move on all this, we just got to get a little tip of our drinks to these gentlemen.
You're
And
here.
thank you for what they did.
Cheers.
And
guys.
ladies.
And ladies.
And ladies.
Ladies.
These comedians. We're better with it. The world is a better place with you guys. Appreciate your legacy. So my comedian, if there were one comedian that were no longer with us that I could have seen live, that I could have really enjoyed his presence with, it'd be Mitch Hedberg.
Sure.
I am just a
Good
massive Mitch
choice.
Hedberg fan. Unfortunately, like a lot of comedians, a lot of people that spend a lot of time on the road, rock stars, wrestlers, whatever it may be, addiction problem. Big drug problem. He also, there are a lot of things there, but hands down, the best one-line comedian of all time. If you disagree with that, I will fight you. There are some other good ones out there. There's no one that did it like Mitch did it.
Also, another comedian who had an assassin level insight that would just give you the story, give you the piece, let it hang, and let you understand.
Oh, absolutely. And his reactions when his jokes didn't land sometimes were funnier than when they did.
Oh, because he explained it.
No. And he was known. I can't remember who it was, but a female comedian. He's like, I remember getting really upset when I was dating Mitch, and we were in an argument, and I said something. Goes, wait, hold on, that made a great joke. I got to go write it down. Mid-argument sort of thing. Did some great cameos on that '70s show, and a few other things. Made some jokes about Boise and the subway downtown feeding ducks that were hilarious. And I just loved how all over the place he really was. So I'm playing you guys a little clip.
Okay.
Just so you get a little taste of who Mitch was as a person. Maybe not my favorite, but still pretty dang funny.
Your show. I got a belt on that's holding up my pants, and my pants have belt loops that hold up my belt. I don't know what's really happening down there. Who is the real hero? I went by a dry cleaner at 3 a.m. and the sign says, "Sorry, we're closed." You don't have to be sorry. It's 3 a.m. and you're a dry cleaner. It would be ridiculous for me to expect you to be open. I'm not going to walk in at 10 a.m. and say, "Hey, man, I walked by at 3 and you guys were closed. Somebody owes me an apology." I called the hotel operator. She said, "How can I direct your call?" Well, you could say action, and I will begin to dial. Then when I say goodbye, you can yell cut. And if you want, you can wear a beret and knickers. Is a hippopotamus, or a really cool opotamus?
I just love that. It gives you a great idea. There's no transition in this guy's jokes. He just has one-liners and he fucking lets them fly. Sometimes he'll kind of loop it into a story, but that's just a little example of who Mitch is as a person.
Well, and you're right. He was mostly a cat who was just giving you his perspective.
Oh, it's almost like
So-
stream of consciousness
Yeah.
just when he's super fucking high. And I used to do drugs. Well, I still do, but I used to too. One of his jokes. Someone came up to me and was like, "I saw a picture of you when you were younger." And I was like, "Well, that's not impressive. Every picture of somebody is when they're younger. You want to blow my mind? Show me a picture of me in the future."
It's the way he always
It was the way his delivery, his
I was going to say, I'm going to go
presentation.
back to our timing discussion.
He was special. I love Mitch. He also died on April 1st from a heroin overdose.
Dang.
April Fool's Day.
April Fools, except it's for reals.
Or is it?
Or is it?
It's for real.
All right, so we have another beer here. This is the Fremont Field to Ferment. And I do not have a can or anything up on Untapped yet to talk about the beer, but I wanted to introduce it. So I'm kind of revamping here. PK, you want to help me out?
Well, I kind of just want to let you go.
Right. I was going to see how long that went. This is not an IPA. It's a pale ale. Okay.
Oh,
We got 6% alcohol and 50 IBUs. We said we had another one from Fremont. Here it is. This is much more reasonably priced than the last one. I can't read the check-ins from here.
We have 8,700 total check-ins, 6,800 unique check-ins, and 583 check-ins this month. We have 6,173 total ratings, which puts this beer at a 3.95 on average.
3.95 is not bad, especially for a pale ale.
Really good for a pale ale. Actually, that's pretty awesome for a pale ale.
Yeah, that's like
Right.
the top end, I think.
I don't mind pale ale, so I really like me a good pale ale. Well, let's drink this one. What do you guys think? Any notes on the Harum, the boutique?
I get more hop smell out of this than any of the beers that we've had.
These beers are super danky, and I think it is part of the freshness. You know, you can't get things that overcome that because fresh hops are intense smelling.
Yeah.
And it's hard to overpower that without some time. So these beers are extra danky tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like this is the most that I've had off of beer. Just super pine, right? Right as soon as you stick your nose into it.
A little bit, yeah. It is pretty foresty. I will give you that.
Mm.
Smells good. I like it.
That wasn't the camera, though.
Oh damn it!
You can actually do it again. It's fine.
I don't think he's tall enough.
No.
No.
Alright.
His ass is big enough.
True.
All right, let me read the website. Let's see how Fremont describes this beer, this beverage. It says brewing is the craft of blending science with artistry, then introducing the mystical. Field to Ferment exemplifies this adventure. We brew this fresh hop ale throughout the entire hop harvest, and Yakima, highlighting different hop varieties as they are harvested. Field to Ferment represents a colossal collaboration between a brewery and our hop farmers. We will make countless trips between the fields in Yakima and the brewery in Fremont, loaded with tens of thousands of pounds of fresh, juicy hops. Nothing is fresher. Nothing is better for a brewer. So please do enjoy this beer absolutely fresh and enjoy the adventure this beer represents. Because fresh hops beer matters. Fresh hops are the best hops. BWP.
So yeah, I don't really know where I'm gonna rate this beer. It's throwing me all over the map because I want to rate it for what it is, right? And that it is actually a really good pale.
So it doesn't taste like a pale to me though. Are you getting classic pale like taste?
I'm not getting like the skunk that you get off a pale normally.
No, I'm not either. Yeah.
But everything that I want in a pale, I'm getting. Like, and not an India pale, just a regular, pale. And getting that very much, the acid with the bitters at the end, kind of, sitting on both the top and the bottom of my palate at this point, in the back. And I'm not getting that as much of a bite as I was from, the Sockeye Fresh Hop Double Dagger. But in that way, it makes it better, like, kind of a thing, because it's just a straight up pale. I don't know, if I wanted to rate this for what it is, I would rate it a 3.5. If I'm going to rate this beer for me, I'm going to rate it like a 2.75. And because of that, I think I'm going to end up just at a square, solid 3.0.
Solid 3.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I wrote it down and then I erased it, thinking like, no, it's better than that. But like for myself and my flavor profile, it's not a beer for me. So I'm not going to rate it that high on my own personal level. But if I was rating this beer just as what it is and what I think it deserves, I'd give it a 3.5. But for me, 3.0.
Interesting.
I think it tastes like a classic pale ale. Classic American pale ale. I think it's weird that.
Can you describe some of the classic tastes for me?
So to me, to be a classic American pale ale, I really like to think of the Manny's pale ale. That one's really good, but it's got to have a little bit of bite to it. Sit on the middle of your tongue, but it's still got to be crisp and it's got to be light.
Yep.
It can't be super heavy like an IPA. That's one thing that super separates it. It's a little bit danky, but I think to me, a pale ale is usually, if I'm at a dive bar, I'm going to get a pale ale on draft because I don't necessarily trust their IPAs. They're going to have something boring when it comes to everything else. So usually you can get a pretty good pale ale at a lot of dive bars. So to me, it kind of has a nice, clean, crisp, piney, divey smell to it. That's what I think of it. And I like me a pale ale. It's like, I don't want something as light as an amber, but I don't want something as heavy as an IPA. It's a good go-between.
See, interesting. I have a little different understanding of it as far as my understanding of pale ale is concerned. It almost has a classic pale ale to me. Almost has a metallic taste to it at times, almost coppery occasionally. It's very light in color, which is not this. I get a very amber color. I get some lacing to it as well.
See, I think it has a golden pale look to it. I don't see that much amber. I get a little dandelion.
I get a darkerness to it than what a non-pale ale would be to me.
I say it is a Budweiser and not a Bud Light.
Budweiser's the look. Yeah.
Well,
Agreed.
Fucking hate Budweiser.
This beer has a little bit more spice and a little bit more character to it than I would definitely give it as a pale. This would probably be one of the greater pale ales I've ever tasted. So I'd put it at a 3. I'd put it at a 3.75.
I enjoy the fuck out of this beer. I'm gonna go with you and give it a 3.75. I like that. Now I'm gonna give it a 4.
Whoa.
I lied. I'm gonna give it a 4. I think
stand
I
up for what you believe in, Jerry.
Yeah, one-upsmanship.
Is that like how I said? I would give this a 3.5 if I'm judging it off of what I think it deserves, or are you judging that for yourself?
For myself, I
For yourself,
genuinely
a 4.
enjoy this.
Okay, great.
You know, I have a weird enjoyment for a light pine taste that this has.
Okay.
I think it is crispy. I like where it sits with the ABV right at 6%. To me, this is a nice all-day drinker. Like this, to me, would be a good softball beer, river beer, something like that. I enjoy this.
At 6%?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a good all-day drinker where I can kind of keep going. Definitely not going to be partying off of this beer.
No.
But, you know, it was like, we got a long day, but we need some beer to get through it to get down on this.
Huh. Okay.
I may have found my favorite pale ale.
It's you and Vic both, huh?
Yeah.
I think it's
I
really
have
good.
the same ideology about pale ales. in
We
general,
do. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So our flavor profiles are very similar.
4.0.
Nice. Nice. I really like this beer. I think it's quite good.
I'm not saying it isn't.
Oh, you're the odd man out.
I am the odd
forgot
man
about
out.
that.
I am the odd man out. I'm just,
Motherfucker will.
you know,
I think it's good. I think it's good for a pale ale, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. But it does not give me characteristics of a pale ale, which is why I'm confused, but I'm entertained.
okay.
A little bit aroused.
My comedian that I actually started looking at when Jerry, you know, posted this list, and I even tried to find other comedians, you know, that I thought would be on it, like Harold Ramis or John Candy or John
Chris
Belushi,
Farley.
Chris Farley. Any of those guys, they didn't do stand up really.
At least not that we could find.
Andy
Phil
Dick.
Hartman.
And yeah, Phil Hartman. None of them did stand up. So I guess Andy Dick's still alive somewhere.
I was going to say.
Ugh.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like you should be dead, but he's not.
I know.
Somehow he's still fucking
He's
alive.
going to end up like Keith Richards, probably.
Right.
That guy.
Without the legacy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And moving on. My comic, you know, he touched a lot of people's hearts, and you know, you are immediately going to know him. You're going to know his work as soon as I say his name. You're going to think of that time when you first discovered him, and whether it was on, you know, Mork and Mindy, or it was Aladdin, or it was, you know,
Mrs.
his live on
Doubtfire.
Broadway, or Mrs. Doubtfire. You're obviously going to know the work of Robin
Jumanji.
Williams.
Robin
and,
Williams.
Uh,
That's still
gosh.
a name I can't hear say without being sad.
the guy was just amazing, wasn't he?
Dude.
I mean, he was what made being a goofball acceptable. You know, out on the playground, I would say.
You're right. He was a special person with his realism in the sense that he cut to the core of human behavior and understanding and comprehension a lot of the time. He was a very real, very truthful individual, but he did it in such a way that he conveyed it to the masses with all his craziness, with his
It was
his
extra
behavioral-
bold.
He was
with his
so high
behavioral
energy.
moves, so high energy.
It was completely Looney Tunes,
He also
Exactly.
loved
and
Cocaine.
it was amazing.
But that was a sort of a reflection on I'm so Looney Tunes, but that's what the human condition is. It's fucking crazy.
It is.
So I'm gonna act it out so you can understand it. He's a man of so many voices and so many characters.
I love Robin, dude. I love what you said about his voices. Great voices, funny, although stereotypical impersonations. Just because he had such charisma, such energy, such an aura about him. And it's funny watching him do stand up because the dude's freakishly hairy. Like, and you watch him go through his sets, and he sweats so bad, and you see his arm hair that
Just
looks
starts
like
to
it's
stick to
sticking
it.
out like an inch above his arm when he starts, and then afterwards just matted laying down like he just got out of a swimming pool. His shirt's all soaked in sweat, all over the place. You can tell he's like ripping rails of cocaine, deer and shit.
I still have his like Live on Broadway DVD, and I swear he went through no less than 13
2
bottles
grams of
of
cocaine.
water.
Oh, also,
really?
one bottle for
Probably.
each gram of cocaine. And he did. You would see him drink so much, and you know, cocaine. I've heard really dries your mouth out. And makes you
Probably. I don't
thirsty, too.
hell of a drug.
Don't know.
also.
It's a hell of a drug.
And-
Don't know from experience. I've only heard that story.
Anyways, yeah, just I
I
still
miss
can't
Robin,
believe
man.
it was shocking to me how brazen he was, like with his stand up. You know, coming as like a little kid and kind of discovering him, and then
And his
and then
movies were so
in,
fun. And look at this
Chicago.
room right now. Tell me the energy's not higher just talking about Robin.
100%. Except for Paula, he's over there just thinking.
He's thinking about Jumanji.
He was in that movie.
He wasn't. He was that movie.
The first one, not the remake.
Oh, but they did have a great tribute too.
Yes, they did.
I actually really liked the remake. I hated it the first time I watched it, but then I watched it again, and I was like, "This is so good." I hate it.
Kevin Hart and The Rock, and yeah,
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyways, what you got for us from Robin?
I got this little clip here. It's actually about alcohol. Here you go.
Usually so big men, manly men doing manly things. It's just kill a small animal. It's time for a light beer. Why not have a realistic beer commercial? What's the realistic thing about beer, Rico? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. You just pissed on a dumpster. It's Miller time. Did you realize the first purpose of alcohol is to make English the second goddamn language? Eventually, you may be quite fluent. You may be a Nobel Prize physicist. After maybe 9, 10 Heinekens, you're going, you're speaking fluent drunkenese, bravo. Next thing you know, you get a couple more beers, you got a friend in a headlock going, I love you, little fucker, I love you. That's the kind of love I have for you, baby, goddammit. You work your way beyond beer. You go beyond beer, you start into wine. So very elegant. People are very elegant. Talk going down. I want you to admit that, but no, I'm not. Some people who have, I don't know whether they have the red wine, the fish, and the chicken. What's it matter? Asshole, they're dead. The chicken's not going to reach up to the plate, though. The red wine. It's over with. No, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about people stay or pussy. I'm talking about Man Dog 2020.
Let's go. Fuck Mad Dog 2020.
All right, that's enough for Robin, but I think we got another Idaho beer coming up here. This next one's going to be from Mother Earth Beer Co.
I seriously love Robin Williams. God,
I know,
what
it
a
was
good
so
choice.
fun.
What a good choice, man.
Thank you. Glad I found that clip. I felt it very appropriate.
That's so appropriate. That is so fucking good. I really like that. But yeah, Mother Earth originally from California, but then they opened up a brewery in Idaho. This one I actually like because it was brewed in Idaho. This is an Idaho original, a recipe from our neighbors over here.
Over in Nampa.
In Nampa. Oh my God, I got the hiccups right now.
Again,
Oh,
every episode with you.
It's a problem. Oh, shit.
You are that guy, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. This is their fresh as it gets, fresh hop India Pale Ale. Tasting notes, kaffir lime, star fruit, white nectarine. 6.7% ABV right here.
Oh, this side of the table won that round. Thank
I
you.
was just waiting.
Oh, not very often I get a better can sound than Jerry over here. Wow, this is pouring
It's because I just,
lot ahead.
Mine's not. Maybe I'm just better at pouring
Yeah, I was
beer
gonna
than
say maybe I just.
this one has both our independent beer seal on it and our by Idaho seal on it. I got a fucking double love that. I'm pretty excited to try this one. I like Mother Earth. I like what they're doing. Their Cali Cream. It's probably the best cream ale on the market right now.
And that's saying something because there were a lot for
a lot of them, but that one's really good. It was
and it's sticking around too.
When we did our cream ale episode, if you guys haven't checked it out, go back and check that one out. We didn't. Did we have Cali Cream?
I think we did.
We did have Cali Cream on there, and I think it was maybe the highest rated one of the night too.
It was up there. That's for sure.
So yeah, let's see. I don't know what kaffir. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Kaffir. Kaffir lime. And white. I don't know why it's got to be a white nectarine.
And starfruit.
That seems interesting.
Moving past the nectarine racism.
It's got to be some honky nectarine.
Shout out to our good friends over at Mother Earth. We'll be talking with you again soon here.
Oh, I like it because it does smell danky and piney, but you can't smell the fruit in it too. It has actually maybe the best nose of the night.
This is interesting because this is, I think, one of our first fresh IPAs that we've had that have extra ingredients and is not hazy. It's got all those citra notes, but it's not hazy.
Right, I like that. And you can tell by looking at it that it actually looks like a true IPA. And in case you're wondering where in California, it's a Vista, California. I wasn't sure. I just saw it on the website that Vic had pulled up.
Speaking of, Vic or PK, do you want to maybe give us some reads?
This is a beautiful beer. Light and golden, slight effervescence to it, good bubbles.
It looks exactly
I like
like
the
the
head
other
on
beer that
this
we just
one.
had.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
That's
No,
just-
you're right. Good bubbles. Good bubbles. Something that's underrated is good bubbles in a
Their
beer.
Buku IPA is a really good IPA. Their Syntax Porter is a really good porter.
It's a
Their
peanut
Call
butter
Me
porter.
Ginger Hef. I'm not a fan of ginger. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but if you like it or you like the McCall Lemon Ginger Hef, you'll
Yeah.
like that one.
The McCall actually has more lemon than
Yeah.
ginger, and
I
the
think I like
Mother
McCall.
Earth has more ginger in it
Right.
than but yeah, they're both good hefts
Exactly.
for the summer.
Yeah.
Usually, unless you're gonna play softball year round.
I like the smell
The
of
winter.
this beer. It's good. Good. What do you guys think? What do we got on the Untapped? So while you're thinking about this is our last Idaho beer. So we've got to decide between this one, the Sockeye Double Dagger Fresh Hop IPA, or the Sawtooth No Friends on a Fresh Hop Day.
It was just those three, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a 3.89 on Untapped here.
What about the Fremont? Where is that from?
I think Fremont, California.
Fremont head full of fresh hop hazy. Where was that from?
California.
Was it? Okay.
Or was it from Oregon?
Sorry, we're just doing a couple real quick research, making sure we have our I Tap That segment correct. Our I Tap segment, by the way, is basically whether or not we would tap an entire keg of that beer. Basically saying we'd have enough friends over, we'd have
From
enough people
Seattle,
over.
Washington.
Oh, I'm from okay. Well, of course. Now that reminds me, I used to live like 10 minutes from Fremont. Good for them.
So Fremont, Washington.
Yeah.
Not California.
So when we say I Tap That, it's a play on words with ID is in Idaho, the abbreviation, and whether or not we tap a whole keg of that beer, and whether or not we would get through it all. So, gentlemen, what do you think about this beer? Do we know anything more
Would
about
you
it?
fuck it? Would you put your dick in it? Would you let it put its dick in you?
I said play on words. I didn't feel like you really needed to describe it, but okay.
Well, I did.
Fuck it.
You fuck it. I fuck it. I'm trying to. I don't know.
Have you even tasted this beer yet?
I actually have been
Get to
drinking it. And I fucked it.
You fucked it beforehand, yes. You gotta make sure.
No, just now while I was talking.
As you were drinking it, you were fucking it.
I was.
It's amazing. I saw it.
Thank
This
you.
this is by far the single longest episode of Brewnomics. So if you're still with us, we're okay.
It is yet, actually.
No, this is 53 minutes plus the other 51 minutes that we had.
So we're still not there.
The other ones were double episodes, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I would give this a flat 4. I really like this. I really like this a lot. I drink the fuck out of this.
I'm surprised it's not a hazy. It is actually pretty dang smooth for it to not be a hazy IPA. Like, I'm surprised. There's a little bit of the bitters and the acid right at the end, but I almost kind of feel like that's expected. Still really smooth.
I agree. It's super smooth on this one.
I specifically saved a little bit of Sawtooth because I knew it wasn't going to be the Sockeye that won because that beer kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But these ones are both pretty good, so I'm going to do a sip of each one.
Look at you. Look at you. I 4.0.
I was thinking the same thing, actually. I was
God,
gonna
that
say it.
sawtooth is really good, though.
Good job,
And
Mother
so
Earth.
is this one.
4.0.
They actually taste crazy similar.
That's what I said at the very beginning, Jerry. Come on. It looks exactly like the other one. It tastes a little bit like the other one.
If you were to blindfold me, I don't know. No, it doesn't. Like,
And no, actually, you know what? From this angle, yes, you're right. They do look different. The hazy IPA is way more golden.
the hazy IPA is definitely a different color. It's not as see-through. Obviously, it's a hazy.
For me, the Mother Earth is way more impressive. It's not a hazy, and it tastes that similar. Thoughts, gentlemen? Vic?
Nope. Now I'm getting it with a few more sips comparatively. The Mother Earth does have more of a classic IPA taste. It tastes fresher.
That's
It
interesting.
tastes fresher, I think. If you, well, not if you-
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna give it to Mother Earth.
Yeah.
I dig it, especially if I'm in apocalypse and I can save a beer and it has to last for a while in the right conditions. A classic IPA will always outlast a hazy IPA. That's
Agreed.
what they were made for. IPAs for the win. Post-apocalyptic beer, motherfuckers. I think it tastes fresher too. I really do.
I'm trying to decide if that's because of temperature,
Maybe.
but
But I
I
don't think
think-
the
I think
temperature
you're
is going to
right.
affect a beer like
I
this.
think
then.
you're right. I think the Mother Earth has a little bit of a crispness somewhere in there that is, it's beating it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Mother Earth as well, man.
Alright.
That definitely tapped the Mother Earth.
So not that the sawtooth was bad. That's still a
No,
really
no, no.
good. The word nitpicking.
It's
At
a
this
hard
point.
It's a hard one, man. Yeah, I definitely, but yeah, I have to go with Mother Earth for the win. It's crisp, it's clean, it's tasty, it's got the alcohol, it's right where I want it to be. It's not destroying my tongue right now. Yeah.
What do you-
Mother Earth for the win.
What do you think, Paul?
Oh, it's a MILF.
It's a MILF.
Yeah.
All right.
Now it's
Interesting.
infused with
So
flavor.
really, everyone won but Sockeye, because not only was that the only one that didn't get tapped, it was really the only beer I didn't enjoy. Is that
The
just
sockeye, the double dagger?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I did not enjoy the double
Agreed.
Yeah.
Weird. It's like it's one of those things that took me back to when I first tried Sockeye, where it was just nothing but, and that one wasn't quite as bad, but it was like a bland hop assault,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it just didn't
Something
stand
weird.
out.
Yeah.
You know, it was. I didn't like how malty it was for a fresh hop beer. That's really what it was. I feel lied to.
Well, it was super malty, super high acid, right on the front of the tongue.
Like,
Yeah.
Right on the front.
like the rest of these beers have a nice crispness
Mhm.
to them that one I think lacked.
Yeah, I agree.
Did
But
we,
say still 2 out of 3 Idaho beers are working for us.
did we decide
That
if,
ain't bad.
if we're going to actually tap that? I mean, we decided that
I
was,
think we
the
decided.
Mother Earth was the
Come on.
winner.
I said
Yes.
that I
We
would
would
the
tap
Mother
it.
Earth.
We
Yeah.
would tap it.
It's a MILF. It's a MILF.
Okay, cool.
So Vic, you're the last one. You have the second comedian, not the second comedian, technically the third comedian if we're going from who talked about it, but the
I think
other
he's- I think he's
comedian
the
back
top
to the
comedian.
one that is transcendent amongst comedians. If you're going to have that, one argument could be said that it's George Carlin as the greatest of all time. Next argument can be said that it's
Richard Pryor. I think Richard Pryor, as a whole, is one of the greatest stand-up comics of all time.
no argument.
His thoughts and
he gets
views
my vote.
on racism, social injustices, socialism, like just social views as a whole.
Another one that broke through censorship,
Just
addiction,
addiction.
social, if you like.
His truth, like, and really, he was one of the first comedians who really said his truth as a person and let it hang out there, but he said it in such a way that was just translated over across a broad range of audiences. He was a phenomenal writer. I don't know if you guys know this.
Oh, yes.
He co-wrote Blazing Saddles.
And
He co-wrote that movie. He co-wrote a lot of Mel Brooks movies.
There's
He-
a lot of
he's a
people-
great actor.
there's a lot of people that consider his poetry to be basically the foundation of rap. Like, he invented rap.
It's
Hello. Like, period.
that blows me away. Like, and he's one of the. I don't
He's
know.
so good.
He's a GOAT, man. Greatest of all time.
He is GOAT.
You can't.
Straight up.
Yeah.
You can't not.
Yeah.
When I
He did
think of
everything.
stand-up comics,
Transcendent.
Dick Pryor, man, all day,
Mhm.
all day.
Try that
So
dick.
I'm gonna play you a little bit about his about a minute's worth of one of his stand-ups right now. So here we go.
Oh, you cut in front of, don't play that shit, though, right? You cut in front of them. All right, cut the shit. Cut the fucking crap. Hold on. I love when white dudes get mad and cuss. Because you're also funny motherfuckers when you cuss. Wait, let me say shit like, yeah, come on, peckerhead. Come on, you fucking traitor! Son of a bitch, come on! Yeah, you fucking ain't right, buddy. Niggas be talking about buddy this.
And it's right there where he said so much without having to say a lot right there. Just
Come on
making
here,
those-
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, like just having to just making those just weird reflections on, hey, this is how I say things. This is not how I know things to be for other people.
I think he played more laughter and clapping than Richard Pryor's words in that
It's-
clip.
Well, I
But,
mean,
but that's just it all.
that was off one of the specials, Live from the Sunset Strip, which I probably watched it when I was about 16 or 17, and it blew me away of what stand-up was worth as a whole.
Yeah.
Like,
I love him so much with Gene Wilder, and their relationship was amazing. Because, again, they really are, I think, the two greatest, maybe, comedians of all time. Especially when it comes to a pair of comedians.
Mhm.
Like, sorry, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. You ain't no Richard Pryor
and
No.
and Gene Wilder. But also his social awareness would as a point that a lot of other people didn't have. I can't remember what the movie was.
Give us a description.
Well, Gene Wilder wanted to do blackface.
Oh, I've heard of this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And Richard Pryor was like,
Dude, we
well,
can't.
we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
And then they had a conversation that no one else would have had at
Yeah.
that time, which I also think is amazing, where there are a lot of comedians that maybe would have been scared to say something to Gene Wilder or just would have rolled along with it. But he was the one that said, no, probably shouldn't. That was just what he stood for, what he talked about, what he did for stand-ups in general, what he did for comedy, what he did for acting, what he did for writing.
Music.
Motherfucking Richard Pryor.
Yes.
That man is special.
He changed the generation, man.
Oh, he changed the
He
world.
changed the world.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a generation. He changed human history.
Well, by extension,
I
yeah.
think.
And I mean,
And
And the thing was, he was coming in right after everything was hot. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
like temperatures within, the, racial equality were at a super all-time high. I mean, this is not necessarily like, late 60s, but I mean,
This
still,
is the early 80s.
Yeah.
At this time.
I would say like late 70s, early 80s. I want to say he hit the scene right around maybe 74, but didn't hit his peak until like, or he'd get steamrolling until like
Right.
76, 77. And then at that point, he had another good 10 years where he was just on fire.
Yeah, man. That was like he was literally on fire. Well, in the sense that in the early 1980s, like 1981, 1982, he was renowned for a joke that he did called where he freebased cocaine for a while, and he got so incredibly high where he poured rum all over himself, lit himself on fire, ran down the street, and he got stopped by the police, and he was then hospitalized for second and third degree burns. He was literally on fire.
yeah, that's amazing. And also,
I hadn't heard
when
that
you
so
freebase cocaine, it turns into crack.
Also that,
It's just he was smoking crack.
he did a lot of drugs.
He did, but that's also what's so amazing is after that. That's what I said. The dude was one of the best faces for addiction recovery
Yeah.
and no matter where you were, what you came from, or what happened, you can overcome it. And I love that.
I remember him in the early.
Some of my
90s,
favorite stories
some
are
of those
those
drug
that
commercials,
overcame addiction and who they were and what they do because of it. And he's one of the best examples of all time.
Yeah.
For it. And I love that. Like it chokes me up thinking about what he did for it, because he really was a testament to it. You know, sometimes you gotta do a little crack, but then you can overcome the crack.
Yeah, hopefully.
No, that's not a good way to say it, but
I
he really did.
I know that he did a Dare commercial or two. I'm positive about that, but I almost want to, like, in the back of my mind, like some kind of weird, you know, canonical thing. I want to somehow imagine that he came up with the idea for Scruff McGruff.
Really? I don't know about
I
that,
don't either.
but that would be amazing.
That would be super
I
cool.
mean, wouldn't that be cool? But I don't know.
Mhm.
I probably just made that up. But.
So, of course, Brew Crew, if there was a comedian that we missed stand-up wise, and I'm sure there is, make sure you let us know. Please let us know. If you don't, I'm going to be mad at you because I want to know so I can go look up some of their fucking comedy.
Yeah.
And then if you like this one, maybe we'll do something with our favorite current stand-up comedians. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But more
Let us know what you
importantly,
think. Like, let us know that you listened to it.
just talk to us.
We're not that desperate, but close.
We're getting there. That's fine. But I really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun doing research on this one. Stand-up comedy is great. If you don't watch stand-up comedy, you should probably start.
Please go out and support your local comedy places. I know that they're shrinking, and that needs to not happen.
There is. But we got Liquid here, and they're pretty good.
Yep.
A few other places that do it. So if you're bored on a Wednesday, Thursday night, you see open mic stand-up comedy, go check it out. You'll be surprised. We've been to a fair amount of them around here. Sometimes they're not awesome, and sometimes it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Either way,
sometimes-
you got something to talk about afterwards.
Sometimes you're almost gonna pee yourself. If you're over in Western Washington, check out Tacoma Comedy Club. Got my boy Luke over there. Luke's ever right.
So, Blue.
So I'll let him know. We can give him a shout out on this. But seriously, if you're over there, give that a look up and go have some fun.
And until next time, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, following us on all things social media.
I'm at Will Sinclair, or Sinclair Will.
You don't even know what.
I don't even know what I am.
I'm at the Basco Fiasco, but most importantly, we're at Brewnomics.
Mm-hmm.
Until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Paul. I'm Vic.
I'm Will.
Bye, motherfuckers.
Cheers. Okay, to everybody on YouTube, we're going to close down. We're going to record some bumpers. I don't think that we're going to do that live necessarily. And then I think we're also going to take our super
Dicks out. Might want to turn it off. Dicks are coming out. Or tell your friends to turn it on.
I told my grandparents about this broadcast, so
Oh. Hey, Grandma. Sorry.
yeah.
Dick's coming out.
So we're going to turn that off real quick before any of that happens.
Why did you
But
tell your grandparents about this? That's your fault.
because I know who you are, and I'm not ashamed of that. I know you're not ashamed of who you are.
Oh, I'm
and
not.
I'm freaking proud to,
You probably should be.
Yeah.
That'd be fair.
Anyways, we're gonna, maybe talk about our Iron Fist season 2 spoilers and all that. Anyways, peace.
Later.
Don't do drugs.
Or don't. I don't care.